Well, hi there, Colin, aka the Tone Wizard here. Hope you're doing very well wherever you may happen to be. I'm in Seattle here to check out my first Phish show, which is going to be happening at the Climate Pledge Arena, which is happening over there somewhere. I got the family over there chilling. We're having a great time. We've done all the touristy shit. I didn't have too many beers. My wife is grimacing at me. My little guy's chasing after me in the background there. It's vlogging time, buddy. I'll get you. 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 All right, he's been subdued. I'll come back for you. Just you. Hey, he's chasing after me. He's coming. He's coming. Oh my God. This could be the last transmission from the Tone Wizard ever. No, all kidding aside, I'm really excited to be going to the show, which is off just behind me over there at the Climate Pledge. I'm really excited. There's other kids chasing around in the park here. I seem to be some kind of target for the youth here. But really looking forward to the show tonight. And gonna get some beers at the very least, but I can't wait to check out Phish. My wife's been making fun of me the whole trip, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm out of breath though. I just ran for 10 meters and I'm about to have a jammer. We'll check back in with you later. What is that sound? Well, hi there. I'm Colin, aka the Tone Wizard, and I hope you're doing very well wherever it is that you may happen to be. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. It's actually my birthday, and I am finishing off a wonderful long weekend that I have had, which included traveling down to Seattle to see Phish, my first Phish concert ever. Maybe the only one I'll ever see. Never say never, but if you've been watching my channel for a little while, you'll know that I like to drink beer, and let me tell you, it's my fucking birthday, so I'm gonna have a couple of sips here. Might be a little loose this video. I've tried to start it a number of times. It's been a complete piece of shit, but this time's gonna be different. Now, if you have been following my channel for a while, you'll know that a couple years ago I started a series of videos called "I'm Trying to Get Into Phish," and I did it kind of tongue-in-cheek, because they've kind of been the butt of a lot of jokes in popular culture. And being a big Ween fan myself, I've definitely seen shots fired in internet forums, angry people with keyboards casting aspersions at each other in the dark of the night while their parents are sleeping peacefully upstairs, having to go to work the next day. But yeah, I was aware of the criticisms, but a lot of friends that I had spoke very highly of Phish. I had some friends in the kind of jam band scene up here in Vancouver, and I thought I would give it a shot. So I did. And let me tell you, right from the get-go, I talked to a lot of very friendly and very friendly, helping people who pointed me in all sorts of directions in my efforts to help me in my efforts to get into this band. And let me tell you, 3 years in, I'm fucking in. I'm into Phish. And you know what? I went to fucking see them on Saturday. I did. I packed up the family, went down in the fucking little hatchback SUV. It says it's an SUV. It's a goddamn station wagon. You look at the shape of that thing. It's just a snubby little station wagon with four-wheel drive and a small engine. That's all it is. It's not an SUV. We were not off-roading. Let me tell you that. It's my birthday here. I'm going to keep saying that every time I feel like I've veered into saying something stupid. But I appreciate you watching this video. I really do. I'm sorry if it turns out to be a mess. But we drove down. on the Thursday, and we did some great family stuff. The sun was nice enough to come out down there in Seattle. You have the same problem with the fucking sun that we have up here in Vancouver, which is that instead of a nice glowing orb in the sky, which brings you warmth and comfort, it fucking pisses all over you all the fucking time. And that's part of the reasons why I'm leaving Vancouver to move to Australia in 2024. And because I'm moving to leave to Australia in 2024, I'm fucking glad I got to see Phish, bringing it right back on topic here. I went to the Climate Pledge Arena, and I was only at night one. I was only at the Friday night on the 14th. Partially in part because it's damn expensive to go down to the States now. It used to be cheaper, but it's not. Inflation has bitten everywhere. And also because I brought the family down, and my wife was keen to go down and spend some family time. And she was happy to indulge me and let me go to this concert because she's a great fucking wife. Now, I walked from my hotel at the Westin Inn, those two towers, the circular towers. And I think our room was like higher up in there than the bloody top of the goddamn Space Needle. So here's a little hint for you folks. If you're going to Seattle, don't spend money going up into that giant pointy phallus. It's actually kind of a stubby pointed phallus. We got a tower in Toronto that I've been up. It's much pointier, much higher. So save yourself some money. Just stay at the Westin, get a room way up at the top, and it's the same goddamn thing. In fact, you can't even see the damn Space Needle for most of the city because they built all these other tall buildings. So they need to jack that Space Needle up. That'd be my first advice to the people of Seattle. Anyways, I walked from the Westin over to the Climate Pledge Arena, and I had a pleasant walk. I didn't feel too unsafe. I honestly, I probably only saw about 10 people, and being that I'm from Vancouver, I know all about the drug problems and stuff that we have here on the West Coast. So at no time did I feel unsafe walking around the city, though. My wife and I went into Target, on the other hand, though, and there were more armed guards in there than there were customers. That was kind of weird. Don't know what's going on there. I guess we were looking into the price of baby formula. It was like $54 US. We pay 30 Canadian for that. So I guess they're in there guarding that sweet, sweet powder, right? It's all about the sweet, sweet powder, people. Anyhow, I walked to the arena. There were a lot of Phish fans. The closer I got, there were a lot of people around. And I heard a noise. I was going to go. I saw where my gate was, where I was supposed to go in. I was down at the club. I had seats in the club level. I paid a little more for those, which is kind of cool because you got access to bars and stuff that everybody else didn't have access to. But I have to say, Climate Pledge is a beautiful facility. I think it might be new-ish. It looked new. There were banners up for a basketball team there, a women's basketball team from 2017, but I don't know how old the Climate Pledge is. I think maybe they built that as part of the deal to get the Kraken in there. I'm not too sure. Maybe let me know in the comments if you know that. I'm too fucking lazy and too into my beers to be Googling shit like that on a goddamn Monday night here, people. Anyways, got in there. It was beautiful. But when I was rocking up, I was going to my gate, but then I heard a noise in the distance. I heard what sounded like a marching Louisiana, New Orleans style marching band. And then I heard pop, pop, pop. And so I had to go and investigate. So there was an area that kind of overlooked this area where the noise is coming from. And I saw a sea of people, hundreds of people gathering around. I saw food vendors, and I saw colorful spherical objects being toted about by people, and I saw a number of people with these objects, and the closer I got, the clearer it became their balloons. And I mean, obviously the joke is up, but I came around through a little wooded area, and I came out into this field, and this was like kind of like the Lot area, like a Grateful Dead concert back in the day. And I'd kind of forgotten about the whole Lot element to Phish, which I know is a big part of the band as people follow them around. And obviously when the Grateful Dead were in their heyday, there was a whole moving economy that traveled with the band and sold stuff. And I guess what the Phish people are making a living off of is fucking nitrous balloons, man. I'd heard about it. I've talked about it on the channel. Obviously, I had some footage of it in the montage before the video, but I mean, it was pop, 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 pop. It was more than what I expected. It was funny. And the funnier thing too is like there was drug sniffing dogs around the other side of the area where I came in, where my gate was. But I guess the sniffing dogs have a bit of a blind spot for nitrous oxide or whatever. And I will have to say I've heard things about the Phish concerts and there being a lot of balloon debris and mess. And I actually didn't see a lot, and I'm hopeful that maybe people were being clean and picking up after themselves, because from what I could see, it was the case. Now, I did get offered 2 balloons for $20 or something like that, but I'm not into that sort of thing. I've already damaged this goddamn brain enough over the years. I'm kind of in the period where I want to preserve, hold what we have kind of thing, like your team is up 3-2 in the third period, and you're exhausted, your legs are fucking gone. You just got to hold what you fucking have. So that's kind of where I'm at. So no nitrous, no laughing gas for the old Tone Wizard. It's just all about beer, which, by the way, cost $16.50 US. Tell me, if you're down in the US, what are you paying for a beer at your stadium? And is it not fucking ridiculous? What can they do? Like, you're getting gouged you're getting gouged everywhere, man. My wife and I went to the Cheesecake Factory. It was like $200 for 2 meals, a glass of wine, and a couple of pieces of cheesecake to line the fucking Tone Wizard's goddamn gut with warmth and protection from a world that seeks to destroy him. But the price of this beer at the stadium it's getting fucking outrageous, man. Anyways, I cruised through the balloon huffing area, and I kind of bemused myself. And you know what? It was harmless. There was 67-year-old people doing it. There were young people doing it. They were having a good time. I saw 2 guys kind of just embraced with huffing on a couple of balloons. And if you've got the brain cells to spare, fuck, man, power to you. If you enjoy it, if that's your thing, fucking do it. I mean, beer is no fucking picnic either. It'll take you down just as fast. Well, not just as fast. I mean, I really need to see the flow charts on nitrous balloons versus beer. I need to see that on a cross axis and maybe in a PowerPoint, something simple that even a guy like me can understand. Anyways, got into the show, bought this t-shirt, which is cool because the color is actually the same color as the green screen behind me and in the back there. If you notice, it's pretty cool actually. I'm not physically in space. Surprise, fucking surprise. But yeah, I got this t-shirt, which was also a fucking gouge, man. And I know that when you're playing these big stadium shows, I know that I think the ticket companies take a fucking slice of every friggin' thing that you sell. So this was like $50 Canadian. But it's a memento I will have to wear around the house for years to come. Now, public service announcement. If you are missing a middle-aged man wearing flannel, tie-dye, or a flat-brim baseball cap pulled over the ears with a little bit of hair sticking out, if you're missing a guy like that, chances are, and he's also on drugs, chances are he's just at a Phish show, because that was definitely the demographic there, and I fit nicely in there, minus the balloon huffing. But people were there to have a fucking good time. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, because I was there and I was fucking happy to be there. And let me tell you, with the beer prices, I had 2 beers. I stayed pretty sober. And I really wanted to enjoy it because I was only there for one night, and I'm moving to Australia, and I don't know when the next time Phish are going to be playing in Australia is, or the next time I'm going to be in North America to see a Phish show. So I was there to see Phish, not to get fucking hammered. But people were having a great time. There were people there, I would say, as young as, like, I don't know, maybe, I mean, it could have been 21, I don't know. But there were people there from like the young, like maybe early 20s to all the way up to 70s. I saw some old guys. I saw an old guy down on the rail right in the front of the concert, the front left. I was seated kind of like maybe 200 feet down the lower club area. And like I say, it was pretty cool because I had a private area to go buy beer and take a pee in. And you know what? I've always believed that the bathroom breaks that you take at a concert, that's where the gold is, man. I saw a guy at the urinal beside me just doing one of those, just trying to maintain deep focus because he was traveling to another realm inside of his mind. I don't even know how long he was in there or how long he was peeing, but he was on a different plane of existence. And then I went again a second time because, you know, that $38 beer that I had was just coursing through me. And I wasn't depleting the liquid content of that because when I dance, it's just an upper torso thing, and I just try and match the motions of people that are approximately in the 10-foot radius of me, so I don't appear to be a pebble in a stream sort of thing. Anyways, there's another guy who came out when Bouncing Around the Room came on, and he just comes out and he's like, he does the Ric Flair. I don't want to yell too loud because I got a sleeping baby in the room over there. But he's like, wow. He's like, Phish is bouncing around the room. Get yourself fucking ready. They're about to fucking mop the fucking floor with your minds. He was fucking jacked. It's just great to see people out enjoying themselves. It was fun, and I saw other people in various states of everything. I saw the shirtless, like 50-year-old guys with the handlebar mustaches and the ponytail. They're up there, like I'm on the club level, and then there's like the kind of area where you can just kind of stand to go down. There's like a little space, and people are using that as an impromptu dance floor. And there's like these old guys with like IPA titties, like I'm getting, and some long kind of scraggly hair. They're cutting shapes and making movements. And man, it was fucking fun, dude. Looking down onto the floor, like the people on the floor were on a mission. They Phish does an intermission. And these people just sat down and gathered themselves. They weren't going anywhere. That was kind of cool to see. There's also a lot of light sticks that were being thrown out periodically throughout the show. And like I say, I saw some old timers down the front row, man. After about 2.5 hours, I got to be perfectly honest with you, my legs started to complain. My knees, my IT bands, my ankle. I can name most of the muscles from the waist down because they all fucking hurt. After the age of 35, being a guy who's done a lot of manual labor. But there were some old timers there having a great fucking time, and power the fuck to them, man. People can knock Phish all they want, but they've got fans who are there for the long haul. Getting back to the facilities, the sound, I thought the sound was pretty good. And the light show was fucking spectacular. They had this, I noticed when I was there at the beginning that in the sound pit area, they had a little human head sticking up. And I'm only going to assume that they had microphones affixed to this thing so that they could approximate what the sound would. Let me know if you know anything about this in the comments, and I will have some video of it. But there was a head, and I'm assuming there's two mics, and they can hear what it would sound like in the board if you were just sitting there. So that was pretty cool. The light show, though, was fucking spectacular. All of the lights were on a moving rig, so everything could be lowered in different sequences. And at one point, it kind of came around the band, and then there were lasers that shot out, and there were little squiggly things. And as I was watching, I have to say, I was completely transfixed, but there were lulls in my attention to the band. But I have to think that after so many years of doing this, they are attuned to their audience and they know the state of mind. And I'm just making assumptions, but they know the state of mind that people are in, either at the present time or previously when they've seen the band. And it seemed like they were doing a lot of like tension building and release. And there were definitely moments where you'd be kind of like waggled down. And I'm speaking from my experience with psychedelic drugs, if I'm honest with you. But they rode that shit perfectly. I thought they brought the energy down and then they brought it right back up. And every time I'd look down into onto the floor seats where people were, and you could see the energy kind of lagging a little bit, and then Phish would just bring it up and it was just like fuck yeah, and they used the lights to great effect during that, and it was a great show. And let me tell you, from my own experience, only going there with about 2 beers in me, I'm not into the psychedelics anymore. Kind of that part of my life is gone. But there were times when the music was kind of flagging a little bit, and I was kind of just thinking about things in my life and just wandering off a little bit, but then the band would bring the attention back into the music. And it was, I don't know, maybe I'm getting into kind of, lame fucking hippie territory, but I really thought that the music had a profound psychological effect, we'll call it. And I really enjoyed it. In terms of the actual band, Fishman is the fucking man, as far as I'm concerned. That drummer, to sustain that stuff, to be able to read the energy of the other bandmates the way that he does, to provide colorful, lively playing, throughout the duration of almost 3 hours of music at the age that they are, almost 60 years old, he's the fucking man. I have to say, the other guys are perfect. Mike is probably, I would say, the more reserved end of things. He fills out the bottom end. I didn't hear his playing a lot. There was one section where I really did. It was really, he switched to a really trebly sort of sound, maybe a compressed kind of bass sound, but he was just holding the bottom end low, and he's never been that huge of a player, and I got to respect him for having the restraint in those jam bands. There's no reason why being in a band that big and that good shit wouldn't go to your head and you just be like, I'm fucking great, and turn up and blah, 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 blah. But he doesn't. He does what's appropriate for the moment and appropriate for the song. Over on the keys, Paige McConnell was excellent. That would be the only volume complaint that I had at certain times. I thought the grand piano got a little lost in the mix at times. And Trey Anastasio is Trey Anastasio. I got what I wanted. I got to see some of the songs, some very classic songs. I got to hear a sample in the jar. Obviously, Fluffhead was part of what was the encore, basically the full Fluffhead minus one little part. I think I'll put the set list up on the screen right now so you can take a look. But one song that really surprised me was Steam. Which is a song that I've definitely heard before, but I liked the live, the way that they did the little pick scrape thing for the Steam was fucking cool, man. So I and the vocals, actually, I will say, were also very good. I thought when they all chimed in and delivered those parts that are almost like chants, now that I've seen it live, they're not real harmonies per se, or they probably are, but they're not really like discernible. It's not like some Beach Boys or Beatles kind of shit going on. It's just them delivering the message that's coming through the song. It was really fucking cool, man. I enjoyed the show, and I think that anybody who hasn't seen Phish, if you're a fan of music, if you're a guitar player, if you're into jam bands, or just if you're into classic rock in general, you should go see this band before they're done. Because you know what? 3 years ago, I didn't give a shit about Phish. I kind of thought they were a bit of a butt of a joke. And now let me tell you, I'm into them and going to see them. On what there were two guys sitting behind me. One of them was sat down, folded arms there, big guys. The other guy was just dancing, enjoying the whole show, and I kind of heard them exchanging things, and the dancey guy would say something and the other guy would be like, nah, this isn't the worst show I've seen, I'll put it to you that way. And understanding that there are people who've seen hundreds of Phish shows, but this was, for all intents and purposes, me going to one random show, and I'm glad I did. It's a top 10 show for me, and I think that anybody who's teetering on the fence, or if you just have a general interest in music just on a grand scale, man, I went to Coachella years back, and the Wu-Tang Clan were reuniting, and I went to see them because why wouldn't you go see something like that? And this is very similar to that. If you're not into Phish per se, you should still see them because there's something there, I think, that nobody else does. There's something that's not replaceable. They're not just they didn't just catch the runoff from the Grateful Dead. There's something unto themselves. There's something positive and wonderful about what they do when they all lock in and they beam that out to people. And I really think that seeing it at the very least would put something joyous into your life. And what have you got to fucking lose? And I think that's a good place to end this relatively rambling video. If you have enjoyed this video, if you stuck around to watch it, I thank you. Cheers. I'm having a great birthday. Maybe had a few too many sips here to concentrate, but thank you very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And if you've been watching my Phish videos over the years and helping me get into this band, I really fucking appreciate it because it led me to that show last weekend. And for that, I am forever in your debt. Not in any tangible way, not in any financial way, not in any provable way, but in an emotional way. I say thank you and good night. I'm going to play video games until I fall asleep tonight, and I'm going to get up and go to work a little fucking rough.